Well, Texas is starting construction on a new 80-acre base camp for thousands of Texas National Guards on the border near Eagle Pass. The facility expected to be able to accommodate about 300 soldiers by April and will eventually expand to house up to 2,300 National Guard members. Texas Governor Abbott making the announcement Friday as he continues his border security battle with the White House. And then you've got this new Pew Research Center poll finding 80% of Americans think the Biden administration is doing a bad job of handling migrants at the border. That's compared to just 18% who say that, well, that they're doing a good job. Let's bring in former U.S. Border Patrol Chief and Deputy Commissioner, former Acting ICE Director Ronald Vitiello. And Ronald, I'm glad that you're here because I want to go back to what Abbott is doing at the border. And that's where I started with this base camp, with really starting to put troops at the border. Some in Texas are fighting him on this. They say that it's not their responsibility, that it should be left to the administration. But the administration, as you know, thinks a wide open border is fine and all well.
Thanks for inviting me, Cheryl. Yeah, Texas and the governor, have a will to secure the border, unlike the current administration. And so the state of Texas, through Operation Lone Star, is doing more than anyone else in this matrix, except maybe the front line of DHS. To the tune of billions of dollars out of the state coffers to help protect that border. And so adding a base camp to where these soldiers are now going to be assigned until further notice, we already have an administration that says they don't want to control the border. People are asking them to control the border. Your polling just said there's 18% of Americans that believe he's doing somewhat good on that process. I don't know who those people are because we're all watching those images every single day on our television, where thousands and thousands of people are coming to the border every single day. The secretary himself said that 85% of them are being released into a city or a town near you. And so it's out of control. The big cities are complaining. It's terrible conditions on the border. The front line is now, instead of protecting and patrolling our border and seizing fentanyl and all the other drugs that are coming in, they're processing people for release all over the country. So Texas is doing something I think is quite smart. Those soldiers are going to be there until this administration changes their mind and puts back policies that work at our border. And so people need to remember what this looks like when the policies are changed and reversed, possibly by a new president. They need to understand this when they're picking their candidates and when these contexts come up in November, the consequences of their vote.
I want to move on to, obviously, the funding for the border, because that is where you and your colleagues are coming in here. So the House Problem Solvers Caucus reveals this new $66 billion bipartisan national security package. It includes aid for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, in addition to stricter border security policies. It's called the Defending Borders, Defending Democracies Act. It restores the Trump administration's Remain in Mexico policy for a year. And then it requires the Department of Homeland Security, the secretary, to suspend inadmissible migrants at the border for at least a year if they determine it's necessary to achieve operational control. Biggest question, even if this bill has legs in the House, and that's my first question to you, but the second would be what happens when it gets to the Senate.
Well, the House has made it clear that they want to pass. They passed H.R. 2. That's their fix for the border, which includes some of the things you just talked about that are in this bipartisan proposal. My concerns about what's in that proposal, at least on the media coverage of it, why are we only doing this for a year? That's number one question. Number two question is, why are we negotiating border security? You either have border security or you don't. You're either going to send money to Ukraine or you're not going to send it to Ukraine. So why are we talking with this bipartisan group that's going to try to solve this problem, but they only want to solve it for 365 days. Part of the last go round with this last bill out of the Senate, it was the same thing. They were going to tighten border security controls, but they were going to limit that tightening every year after year when there's possibly a new administration. Why are we restricting what we know works to only 365 days? That's going to be a problem going forward. You're going to tie the hands of a future administration or a future administration past that, because the migrant protection protocols, the safe third country concept, is rooted in bipartisan immigration law. It is out of the Immigration and Nationality Act. And so these politicians, they need to be responsive to their constituencies. And that means every city and town in the United States, and that means the people that live on the border need something better. If they want to reinstitute migrant protection protocols, force the president to do it. You don't necessarily need legislation for that. Make it happen otherwise. And why are we negotiating to something that is finite to 365 days?
That's why
I think that's a mistake.
That's why I wanted to ask you about this, because obviously you are a very important voice, and I know that you are having those conversations with congressional leaders about what needs to be done. They lean on you for information. They lean on you for policy ideas, and I think that's why I did want to get your thoughts on this. But I do want to bring in Tiana Lodesher. She's got a question for you as well, Ronald.
Obviously, that restoration of Remain in Mexico on top of the safe third country agreements, that's probably much more paramount than the idea of increasing border funding. But my question is, how much prosecutorial discretion does the executive branch have? You know, Mayorkas already isn't enforcing immigration statutes as written. So even if Republicans manage to pass another bill codifying Remain in Mexico, is Biden able just to ignore it? Because it seems like he's already ignored most existing immigration law as written.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because he's not interested. He'd rather have chaos at the border than what we're seeing. Codifying MPP is a good idea. Adding resources to this problem is also a good idea. But it has to come with strings attached. It has to force them into doing what they refused to do so far. And then we have to wonder, what is the end game here for the president? You know, estimates of 10 million people who have come into the United States since he's been the president, maybe more than that. What is the end game here? He cannot claim to be a patriotic American. He cannot claim to love this country and the people who live in it while he watches this chaos, while he sits on his hands and watches all this happen. Now, you can just imagine, with the kind of traffic that we're seeing at the southwest border, the DHS frontline and the people who are in charge of it are spending money they do not have. So resources are always important. But if you don't get the policy right, if you don't leverage this president into doing the right thing, then you're chasing good money after bad.
All right. Ronald Vitiello, it's always good to talk to you, Ronald. Thank you for your perspective.
Thanks.